Hi, Paul. We've just caught up at the Sydney RIU Resources Conference last week, and there was a lot to report, starting with a visit to Madagascar.
That's right. Jason Whittle, our new General Manager of Development, is in Madagascar for his first visit. He's having a very productive and informative trip. He's met with key people in the mining ministry and the BCMM, the Office for the Tenements, and is hearing encouraging news on the progress for the implementation procedures, and expectation is that they're not far away from being presented to the mining community, which is great news. So that'll be another milestone achieved by the Madagascan government and important for our shareholders. Jason's also been to Toliara. He's visited the port. He's met with the port officials. He's got information and data about the port capabilities, and has also driven north and south of the port area to identify and hopefully zero in on the ideal location for Akora's future stockpiling area and shiploading facility. He's visiting with the Department of Infrastructure and Roads, and we've learnt that the World Bank is sponsoring the upgrading of the RN13, which comes off the RN7 and heads towards the coast. So that work is underway now, and I think is encouraging for development of projects like ours in the southern part of Madagascar.
Now, talking about Madagascar, you've reported to me it is a great place to start a mine, with a lot of other mines there in the country.
No, very much so. One of the things that we've learned over the while is that people don't necessarily expect that you could have exploration and development in Madagascar. So there are a good number of significant players. Rio Tinto's there with mineral sands. Sumitomo and the Koreans are there with a very large-scale, multi-billion-dollar nickel project, and a number of explorers in advanced stages of development like ourselves in areas of graphite, lithium, and a number of other metals like chromium, for example.
Yes, it's probably not surprising given the easy access to Europe and Asia that Madagascar affords. Now, moving back to Jason Whittle, that's also part of the strategic investor process as well, is that right?
No, very much so. So Jason's preparation over the past week or 10 days is in readiness for the first site visit by one of the strategic investors. That's starting this Wednesday. They will have meetings in the capital, Antananarivo, fly to Toliara, look at the opportunity there for the port, and then drive the road from Toliara up the RN7 highway and visit Satrakola and also Bekisopa, look at the geology, look at the drilling, look at the drill core, and hopefully get a very good understanding of the progress of these projects as the first stage of their on-site due diligence of our project.
Well, that certainly suggests significant interest in the projects, and I suppose it's easy to see why there is such interest in the projects.
No, look, very much so. Look, we've proven up the resource. We've had drilling programs to define the lumpen fines in the weathered zone for the direct ship ore, and people are after iron ore units, whether it's India, China, elsewhere in Asia as well, are after iron ore units. So that's why there is this interest from strategic investors in Akora's project, initially at Bekisopa, but also at Satrakola, where we defined the 10-kilometre magnetic anomaly and reported on that about a month or 6 weeks ago. So they're both very good projects, and they're gaining interest from these strategic investors.
And I think what's important to point out, Paul, is that your project is perfect for the established blast furnace operators throughout Europe and Asia. As much as your projects are perfect for DRI processes, it's not to be forgotten that they're also good for existing established BFF processes.
That's one of the unique advantages of our projects, is this weathered zone of lumpen fines iron ore, the traditional feed material for the blast furnace. That gives us the cash flow at a low capital cost for startup, and from that we can develop the process further and get into producing a very high grade clean concentrate for the future of steel making, the green steel as they talk to.
Okay, well, that sounds very interesting. What else is happening on the strategic investor front?
Look, the other thing we're talking to the mining ministry about is doing a large scale bulk sample, a sample of significant tonnes that can be sent to the blast furnace steel makers for evaluation. That's part of the strategic investor activities, and will give us a lot of insight and confidence that the material from Bekisopa is suitable, as we expect it to be, for the blast furnace steel making operations.
Paul, I'm very interested to know, how is the pre-feasibility study going for Bekisopa?
Now, it's advancing along on several fronts at a good rate. While Jason's been in Madagascar, he's confirmed 2 drilling companies to be at site in the coming weeks at Bekisopa to do the geotechnical drilling and the hydrological drilling. This will enable Wardell Armstrong's engineers, who will be at site to oversee this work, to design the mine pits for the future operation and mining at Bekisopa. As well as that, the mineral resource estimate, which Wardell Armstrong are doing, is nearing completion, and we expect an upgraded mineral resource, tonnes and grade, from the northern and central zones in the coming week. And then that information can go into the scoping study. If you remember, the scoping study was done at a long-term price of $100 a tonne for benchmark grade. Current iron ore price at 116, which is basically the average for the last 6 years, is there. It's encouraging for the iron ore, but that will enable us to upgrade the scoping study numbers, improve the NPV, and importantly improve the cash flow to enable future development at Bekisopa operations.
Well, it certainly sounds like the project is stacking up on a lot of fronts, Paul.
No, very much so. And I'd just like to remind shareholders that the entitlement offer is there. It closes on Friday. It's progressing very well, and I'd encourage our shareholders to participate and be there for the ongoing involvement as we develop Bekisopa and Satricala.